Hey there, how's it going everybody? So in today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to create a geocoding application. So first of all, the process of geocoding is like turning an address name into coordinates which are x and y coordinates, so that we get to know like the specific position on Earth in terms of its coordinates. So in this tutorial, first of all, I'd like to show you an application that we personally created and we are actually still in the process of developing. So this is just called a Django GIS application. It was created using Python language and using the Django framework. So I'm just going to go over to geocoding and then I click on single address. So the application that I want to create is going to be just geocoding like healthcare facilities in Zimbabwe. So I'm just going to type in a name of a healthcare facility in Zimbabwe which is basically popular. So I'm just going to type Parinyatwa Hospital, Harare, which is in Zimbabwe, and then I'm just going to click on geocode. So as you can see here, the application has basically geocoded this address and gave us the specific coordinates. So as you can see here, it is a latitude of -17.811 blah 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 and a longitude of 31.04 blah blah blah. And here we also get like a JSON response, which is also in line with the address that we just punched in and geocoded. And if we go over to the right, we have a map which allows us to actually zoom to the extent to where this Parinyatwa Hospital is. So basically this is where Parinyatwa Hospital is. So for those who are watching this from Zimbabwe or are Zimbabweans, already know that Parinyatwa Hospital is close to the University of Zimbabwe, which is over here. The University of Zimbabwe College of Health Science is over here, and it is also located in Milton Park. So this is the type of application that we're going to be creating, but in this tutorial we're going to be focusing much on the basics of how you can actually get started before we're going to be writing some lines of code. So please take note that in this tutorial we're not going to be writing code, but we're basically going to be dealing with Arcgis Pro. So for those who have Arcgis Pro, you can obviously go and open your Arcgis Pro project. But if you don't have Arcgis Pro, I recommend that you could find a license for Arcgis Pro, or you could register for the Azure Learning Program so that you can get Arcgis Pro for 60 days. I'll make sure I'll put the link in the description below where you can get like a 60-day trial license for Arcgis Pro while you learn how to use Arcgis Pro. Okay, so over here I already have my Arcgis Pro project already open, but if you don't have it open, you just need to click the Arcgis Pro. So you can just go over to start and then you can just type Arcgis, and then basically all the Arcgis applications are going to appear. So I'm not sure why it is taking some time, but I think it's because of some processes which have been running in the background. As you can see, I've opened like quite a bit of applications, but what we get. Okay, so as you can see here, I just typed Arcgis and it basically lists all the Arcgis applications that I have on my machine, and you need to use Arcgis Pro. And one thing that I need to mention also before we begin with this tutorial is that I'm not going to be using ArcMap, because ArcMap is going to be phased out in 2026, and the current version of ArcMap is the latest version, and which is also the last version which is Azure is going to be producing in terms of ArcMap, because they are now shifting much of their work into developing this Arcgis Pro, which is mainly centered on dealing with online environments. Okay, so now that I have my Arcgis Pro open, the first thing that it requires you is to type in a project name. So just written GIS tutorials here, because we're basically going to be adding all the tutorials that we're going to be doing in here. So the first thing that I would recommend before you start doing any work, and if you're going to be working with a lot of maps in your Arcgis Pro, is to name your maps. As you can see here, by default it just gave me the map and says map 1. So you can just basically right click and then you go to properties and then you just name that so that you know whatever you're doing. So I'm just gonna type in geocoding service, and I save that so that I know which map is gonna be which map, instead of clicking each and every map one after the other and trying to see what exactly you were doing. Now we have everything just named. Okay, So like I mentioned earlier before, we're going to be creating an application which geocodes healthcare facilities in Zimbabwe. So as you can see right now, we have like a default extent of the whole world. We do not really have any healthcare facility data for Zimbabwe in this scenario. So what I have here is I have an account on Africa Geoportal, which basically houses all the Zimbabwe spatial data that I managed to find online, which is also open, and I've managed to package this into a file geodatabase which I uploaded to my Arcgis online account, and I managed to make this public also. So as you can see here, we have quite a number of data which we have in this Arcgis Africa Geoportal account. So you can also go and create your own Africa Geoportal account. Africa Geoportal is a very free platform for Africans to do and work on their GIS related projects. I'm also going to drop in the link in the description below. Okay, so what we need here is the health facilities data. So I'm just going to click on health facilities, which is basically going to be a point layer. And as you can see here, I'm provided with the URL. So earlier before in another video, this is basically the REST URL. So I'm going to copy that, and then once I copy that, I'm just going to go back to my Arcgis Pro, and then I'm just going to navigate under the layer group. I'm just going to click on the drop down under add data, and then I say add data from path, and then I basically paste in the path to my healthcare facilities data, and then I just click on add. And as you can see, it is currently adding up that data, and now it is finishing up. So these are all the healthcare facilities in Zimbabwe. So normally what I like doing first, after adding in my data, I just need to view in the attribute table so that I'm sure of whatever I've added and that it is actually the right data. So as you can see here, in our data we have a district, we have the name of the facility, and we have the facility type, and additionally we have the coordinates, but we don't really need this in the attribute table. It was just meant for whoever's going to be exporting this to a CSV file so that they actually get to see the coordinates in the CSV file, but for now we don't need that. Okay, so now that we have our health facilities data, you need to take note of what is actually currently available in your attribute table, because the attribute table is the basis of creating your geocoding application. So now that we have our data added into this, one thing that I like about Arcgis product is that they already know what the users want. So it's like everything's already defined within the application, and with the coming of Arcgis Pro, it seems to be having like a lot of intelligence involved in everything that these guys are actually doing. Okay, so now that I need to create a geocoding application, if you're familiar with ArcMap, it's still gonna be the same process, but different navigation system. So now what we need to do is we need to go over to the analysis tab. So once I click over on analysis, and then I just go on tools, and then it opens this tab and it gets me my favorite tools, the ones that I normally use, and my toolbox and my portal tools that are ready to use. As you can see, I'm currently signed in here, so it provides me with all the tools which are available for this account, and it's basically going to be processing this online. But what we're basically interested in right now is an address locator. So I'm just going to type in address locator right there. So a couple of options are going to appear, and what we're mainly interested in is under geocoding tools. So here it's saying create a composite address locator. No, we don't want to do that. Create locator. So this is what we want to do. We want to create a locator. Okay, so let's just click on create a locator, and then it's going to give us some couple of options. Okay, so now it's asking me which country or region am I in. So I'm just gonna try and select my country or region. So unfortunately I'm from Zimbabwe, so there is no Zimbabwe on this option. So I'm just going to click on as defined in data. And then the primary tables that I'm going to be using is the health facility data, and I need to pick a row for this data. So this is going to be a point address, since I already have points, so it's going to be point address. And once I select point address, it's going to ask me on how I need to map my fields. So we basically have a field name and its alias name, which is basically from the attribute table. So as you can see here, we have like a house number and everything, but we do not really have this. So I'm just gonna need to change this, because here it's saying point address, so I need to change that and specify that this is a point of interest. But if we were actually going to create an like a geocoding application for house addresses, that's when we're going to need like the point address. But in this case, I'm just going to use the point of interest. So I'm just going to click on point of interest, and my field mapping is also slightly going to be changing a little bit. Okay, so now that we have our place name here, so the place name is basically the name of the healthcare facility. So I'm just gonna select on name, and you need to take note that every field within asterisk is actually required, and it is mandatory that you need to fill in that field. So as you can see, place name is the name of the facility. And now I need to look for other mandatory fields. Currently there's a country code. So right now there's no country code that I actually added, so I might need to add some more data to this. And yeah, I think I need to add like the country code to this so that it actually becomes something smooth. But anyway, let's just find what we can also add in this. Okay, so I'm just gonna add in like the district. As you can see, the district has already been mapped automatically because I have a district field. So if it's in Zimbabwe district, it's going to tell me that this hospital is in Zimbabwe district and everything like that. So I just need to add in like a country code. So in order for me to do that, I just need to go back to my attribute table, and then once I do that, I just need to add like a new field. Okay, so unfortunately this layer is currently on my this layer is currently hosted in another account. As you can see, I'm actually logged in with with a student account from my institution of learning, and on my Arcgis Online I'm currently logged in with my Africa Geoportal account, so it doesn't allow me to edit this. But what we can do is we can create a local file geodatabase. So let's just do that right now. Just data. Oops, unfortunately we're not also able to do that. Okay, so for the purpose of this tutorial, let me just do this. Let me just add in like a country code and just say like this one, this feature ID is going to be like the country code, like that. And as you can see here, like the red spot which was here has been removed. So but in actual terms, what you need to do is you need to actually specify a country code. If it's if it's Zimbabwe, then it's going to be something like ZWE, yeah, something like that. If it's France, FR and anything like that. So what we need to do here is we now need to specify a language code. So basically I'm English, so I left English, so I'm just gonna place English there, and that's my language code. Do we have any additional parameters? If we had some alternate tables, like for example tables with alternative names to these healthcare facilities, then we'll be adding those additionally. But currently we do not have anything like that, so I'm just gonna leave that blank. And I'm just gonna click on run, because this application is ready now. So I'm just gonna click on run. As you can see, it's now running and processing the data. Oops, it failed. So there's record object one from point of interest input feature class as an empty or invalid country value. So as you can see, country value is actually required, and so it seems like we're having a little bit of trouble there. So what I'm gonna do right now is I just need to add in like a layer which is already locally available in my data, so in my local machine. So I'm just gonna add that layer into my project. So I'm just gonna need to connect a folder, and then I need to add in like the folder, see where I can get the data from. As you can see, here is data health facilities shared file, and now I need to remove this one because I'm no longer need this. So I'll be using this one for the purpose of this tutorial, something which I can actually be able to edit. Okay, so now that we have that one, and we already know that we have some required fields in our data, I can just simply go on add, and then I just need to write in our country code like that. So I'm just gonna say country code, and then here I'll say country code, and then I make it text, and then the default one is, I'm just gonna need to add a default. Oops. Okay, so let's just save that so that we can move on to this tutorial. Okay, so that it's actually saving. Okay, so now that it has saved, if I go over here, we now have a country code section, and I just need to add in some default data. Just need to calculate that. So I'm just going to use a Python expression. So I'm just going to add in this single quotes and then place ZWE, and then click on apply, and then it's basically going to add ZWE to all the sections for the country code. So I just need to go back to my geoprocessing this time, and now I need to add in my health facilities layer. So I'm just gonna click on that, and then this time I just need to add in my country code like that, and then on my place name this time it's gonna be name of facility. So we're basically going to be adding this based on the attribute table. Like I said before, we have a district there, so I just need to see where the district comes into play. So we have a district here, is already mapped, and do we have any other data that is of interest? Type of facility, let's just see. No, we don't really have a type. No, let's just see where we can place that. Okay, yeah, place category. We can just say place category. We can just say type of facility. Yeah, I think that does it. And now we need to find a location where we can place this locator, because initially, like before, I had placed this locator like anyway. So if you need to reposition your locator, you also need to rename this. So then just let's just go back here and say health facilities. Just need to rename it so that it looks nice. Health facility locator, something is nice, and I'm just gonna run that. So this time it should actually run. As you can see, it is running, and we are good to go. So 80%, 85, 90, 98, and 100. So our locator has been completed. You can also get to view the details of the locator. It actually gives you all the information that was captured during the process. So now let's just get to taste our locator. So let's just go over to our catalog now, and we're just gonna remove that. So I just need to go on map, and then I'll go on locate, on search. Oops, yep, the search button is actually there, and I need to figure out which one I use. So I'm just gonna remove the default XY provider and use the health facility locator. So I'm just gonna say Parinyato. As you can see, Parinyato actually came out as a suggestion, and it has actually zoomed in to the actual location of this hospital in Zimbabwe. So I can just zoom out so that we get to see where it is actually located. I think there was some bit of a misunderstanding with this one. Okay, so I think whoever created this dataset named Parinyato in the wrong position. So this is some bit of some error. So let's just try Marondera Hospital. So Marondera Provincial Hospital, as you can see here, I zoom out, is actually in Marondera. So I think the person who created this dataset actually misplaced this famous hospital, because this one is actually located in Harare, but on this data it's coming out in some funny place. But basically, now that we have an idea of how you create a locator, so once you're done with this locator, now it doesn't end here. You now need to upload this locator onto your server, which is going to be the next tutorial which you're going to be dealing with. So once you upload this locator to your server, and then you get the REST URL. So the REST URL is the one which you're going to be using within this application. So let me just try out Marondera Hospital again. Marondera Hospital. It's in Marondera. It's also in Zimbabwe. I'm just gonna click that, and then it basically shows me all I need to know about Marondera Hospital, as it is also on my Arcgis Pro. Marondera Provincial Hospital, right there. It's close to Nyameni. Let me just verify that. We have Nyameni here. So as you can see, that one was OpenStreetMap, and this is actually OpenStreetMap, and yeah. So I think Nyameni should be somewhere around this area. Okay, so this is basically how you actually get started with creating an address locator. So as you can see, it's even giving me some suggestions as I type along. So this is how you basically get to do it, and I hope I'm gonna see you guys in the next tutorial, where we're gonna be learning how to upload this this address locator onto the server, and from the server we then link this with a back-end language which we're going to be using, which is Python, and then we're going to be creating our own address locator service, which we can actually get to make money from. So you can collect data, you can actually get to collect data, and then you can actually get to provide a service that people can actually get to use. And by the way, this application is still in its testing phase, so I'm also going to include the link in the description below, so that you guys can actually get to test this application and also provide your feedback. So I'm also going to add in a section where you can add like your feedback. So this application actually contains a lot of tools. So if you go on this computation, you can calculate a joule. So you can calculate a joint, a polar, geodetic distance. You can transform coordinates. You can also perform some certain conversions from one data format to another. You can also perform like some geocoding functions, batch geocoding, reverse geocoding. So you can get like some coordinates, like for example, some coordinates, and then you reverse geocode these coordinates, gives you the location of that point, and also the name of where the coordinates are actually falling. And yeah, so you can actually get to save your result once you have been logged in. As you can see, only logged in users can save their results. So I'm just going to provide the link to this application in the description below, so that you guys can actually get to try this and test it. So I hope I'm going to see you guys in the next tutorial. Please do share, like, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and continue supporting us so that we actually get to create more videos. See you guys. See you next time. Thank you so much.